Real quick, before I bring Kiante up, how many of y'all are a part of the Techsgiving Discord? We got a few of y'all, okay, we got like 10 of y'all. So y'all trying to go on a vacation paid for by Techsgiving. How many of y'all are part of the Techsgiving Discord? One time, show of hands. If you are not a part of the Techsgiving Discord, either go to the Techsgiving, do y'all know what Discord is? Y'all do Discord? Okay. So go to the Discord app. It's essentially a different way to connect to the Techsgiving community. And like the summit, you all can connect all year long with us. So go to the Techsgiving Instagram, the Techsgiving TikTok, the Techsgiving X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and make sure you guys sign up for the Discord. Go to the link in bio, sign up for the Discord. We have a trip that we are working with Ethiopian Airlines to take 2 people on a trip. So it's called Discord to Departure Challenge. In order to find out what that challenge is, you have to go ahead and join the Discord. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and get to our speaker. Now, speaking on big steppers, building strategic partnerships with corporate powerhouses, please show some love and a big welcome for Mr. Kiante Bush.
What's going on, y'all? Can y'all hear me? Yeah, y'all can hear me. All right, what's going on? How y'all feeling today? All right, DJ, give me my bag, Fred. Yeah. What's going on? I hope y'all doing good today. My name is Kiante Bush, and welcome to the Big Steppers. Welcome to the Big Steppers, building strategic partnerships with corporate powerhouses. So first and foremost, I got a question for y'all. If you feel like you're a big stepper, make some noise. All right, let's go. I like that. I kind of believe you. I'm going to give y'all one more chance, though. If you feel like you're a big stepper, make some noise. That's right, because everybody here is in their own essence a big stepper. You might not have felt like coming today. You got out of your bed. You arrived, right? In some essence, some of us may be introverts. You may be in your own box. And so coming out and stepping out of your box and coming to a session like this to pursue your dreams, you are a big stepper. So it's a pleasure to have y'all today. I'm Kiante Bush, and I'm excited to share some gems with y'all on some big steppers that I've worked with. How to land that corporate partnership, whether it's for your startup or your nonprofit or whatever it may be. So I'm super excited for y'all today, and it's a pleasure being here. So a lot of y'all said you feel like you're a big stepper. I love it, and I agree with it. I love the energy. And so as you can see, if there is a generational barrier, for those who may not know, this is what a big stepper is, in a way. Of course, it's used to characterize somebody who takes bold steps in life. So maybe you're taking a bold stride in one way or another. And so given that, let's think about some examples of what a big stepper may be. Anybody had a BlackBerry? All right, I see some folks. You had a BlackBerry. Yeah, my wife right here, she had a BlackBerry for far too long. It was like 2012 and she still had a BlackBerry. But think about a BlackBerry, right? It changed the game in its own essence at that particular time. Anybody seen the BlackBerry movie? It dropped this year. There's a BlackBerry movie. I recommend it. Check it out. My boy back there saw it. Shout out to Right C. I see y'all. All right, so check out the BlackBerry movie. But talking about big steppers, right? Corporations, when they make a step, they take a stride, the industry feels it. The industry feels it. BlackBerry had the game in a chokehold. They had the game on lock. Even if you weren't in business, so to speak, people walking around with BlackBerries make you feel good, right? And so think about this, though. In the movie, if you saw the BlackBerry movie, a game changer was when Apple dropped the iPhone 1. BlackBerry was shook. They were shook. They trying to redesign immediately. They like, all right, we got to ditch the scroll pad and we got to ditch the keyboard. Let's do straight touchscreen. And so essentially, they were a big stepper in that moment. They took a stride that changed the game for the whole industry to where they're going back trying to make redesigns. It was insane. And so all that to say, that's an example of a big stepper. So of course, you all are big steppers, but we're also going to talk about big steppers such as the corporate partners, the corporate sponsors who are changing the industry and how you can lock in with them for your visibility. And that's super important because my team works with a lot of startups on a day-to-day basis, and they have amazing concepts, they have amazing ideas, but poor visibility. How do I get my business to be seen, by those who may be able to invest in us, by those who may be able to be customers for us? And that's critical. You can have the best idea in the world, but I promise you, if nobody knows it exists, it won't amount to much. How do you get the sponsors? How do you get, the good customer bases? And so, super important. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about big steppers. Of course, as you all said, you are big steppers, and I 100% agree. So it's also important to think about maybe you're interested in partnering with those big steppers in an industry, or maybe both. So there's some things you'll have to consider. Does our vision align? You're gonna have to think about that. Does our vision and does our mission align? That's super important. I'm about to ask a tough question. It might make some friends for the rest of the summit, might make some enemies for the rest of the summit, so pay close attention. Y'all with me, I see you. Team iPhone, make some noise. All right. Team Android, make some noise. Y'all in here, I hear y'all though. Y'all still in here though. All right, so thinking about Team iPhone, Team Apple, Android, right? Because I heard a little more Apple, I'm gonna talk about iPhone. Let's think about collaborations, brand collaborations that would make sense. Say the iPhone partners with, what's your favorite burger spot? Five Guys? All right, Mel, shout out to Mel. Mel like Five Guys, what you said? Smash Burger, all right, I like Smash Burger too. All right, so we're gonna say Apple wants to collaborate with Smash Burger or Five Guys, right? Two very different brands that can go either really well or really bad, right? But the way that they could spin it in a way is say Apple partners with Smash Burger, but they have a fully autonomous burger experience, burger purchasing experience, right? There's no workers, it's just straight AI, automation, and robotics. Even if you are not Team Apple or Team iPhone and you're Team Android, you might really just pull up just to see the experience, right? So it could benefit on both ends. The vegans might pull up, they don't eat the burgers, but they still might pull up just to check it out, the technology. So it can benefit on both sections, right? As a result, maybe some of the people who were Team Android are now checking out some of the tech of iPhone, because of that collaboration, and then vice versa. Some of the vegans might be pulling up the Smash Burger just to experience the technology of it all. So just something to think about. Does the mission align? We've seen a lot of partnerships that had great alignment and go great, and we've seen some really bad ones. As a prime example, because the title is Big Steppers, I had Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Anybody a big Kendrick fan? Big Kendrick, all right, yeah, Ish, I see you, bro. All right, so Kendrick fan. As an example, as a partnership, we talk a little bit about, if you heard the album, a little bit about Kendrick and kind of like the Kodak collab in a way. Some people think it went really good, some people think it went really bad. Two different artists from two very different places. In a way, Kodak's kind of the street storyteller. In a way, Kendrick is more of the, conscious rapper, so to speak. So the collaboration could have went really good or it could have went really bad. And so, just thinking about that, you have to also think about the risks. You have to think about the risks of that partnership. And then lastly, you have to think about the gain. A partner wants to know, what's in it for me? What am I getting out of this? And so you also have to think about the gain as well. So I'll tell you guys a bit more about some of my journey in terms of partners I've worked with, and then a little bit of some of the sponsors and some of the other organizations that we collaborated with. Just a little more about me. I've been in the tech consulting industry for over 8 years. I worked at some pretty decent companies, as you can see, Northrop Grumman, Accenture, JP Morgan, and so forth, all in the tech consulting industry, all amazing experiences that I learned a lot from in terms of these corporate potential partners and sponsors. But also on top of that, I'm also the CEO and founder of my own social enterprise and startup accelerator by the name of Venture for Them. THEM is an acronym meaning Tech High Performers and Entrepreneurial Minorities. And so I'd like to share y'all a little bit about what we do. So I got a quick video, and I'm hoping the video may play. And so I like to talk a lot about what we do, but I prefer to show it. So let's take a look at what we do. Oh, they got the ads. We didn't sponsor this. All right, this is a little bit about what our organization does at Venture for Them. If you've ever seen Shark Tank, we go to universities, especially HBCUs. Anybody from HBCU? Make some noise. All right, let's go. We go to HBCUs, we have on-tour campuses. We go on campuses, and then we have on-campus pitch competitions.
I'm a certified transformation life coach, and I'm the founder and CEO of Five Vision Creations, LLC. And like Muhammad Ali said,
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
One word to describe your HBCU. 1, 2, 3. The only answer is illustrious. Come on.
My name is Coach G, and I am the founder and CEO of Coach G Academy Incorporated.
Mellow Axe.
All right, so that's just a little bit about what we do. If you've ever seen Shark Tank, in a way, that is what our corporation does. We go to different HBCUs. We provide funding for those student entrepreneurs. It can be anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 to $10,000, and we work with a lot of huge corporate sponsors to do that. We bring angel investors, we bring VCs, they're the judges. You get 90 seconds to pitch your business, and then from there, they provide feedback, they ask questions, and we select the top 3. So that's just a bit about what we do, but in order to do that, we had to bring in some big-time big steppers. And so just to show a bit about those big-time big steppers, we work with Walmart, we work with PNC. Actually, anybody went to Howard? HU in the building? All right, I see some HU. I went to Morgan, but I got love for Howard. Recently, Howard had this Bison Boss Summit, and so what we did was we were able to partner with corporations such as Walmart, such as PNC, to give away funding for these student entrepreneurs.
1 second, bro. 1 second, bro.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Hey, my guy took his time to prepare this, so we just want to make sure everyone in the back, we understand y'all are mingling, y'all are networking, but let's please try to be quiet, either go to the upstairs suites, go downstairs, but let's make sure that we are giving him this space so that he can present his information. And that's for everybody going forward, everybody that touches any stage. They took time to prepare this to pour into y'all, so let's give them the respect. Bless up. You good, bro?
Appreciate you, Brody. Appreciate y'all too, man, of course. Make some noise for yourselves. Yeah, shout out to y'all. This is a big conference. We got to network. We got to get them gyms. You want to lock in them LinkedIns and everything, so that's super critical. I won't be before you long. But just to tell you a little bit about the big steppers. And so, of course, we work with Walmart. We work with PNC. We work with LVMH. Those were some of our first investors in what we do. Thurgood Marshall College Fund as well. Anybody heard of Black Ambition? I know y'all heard of Pharrell Williams, though. Beautiful. I don't sing, but I'm in tech, though. I wish I could be in tech and sing. That would be super dope. But Pharrell Williams and Black Ambition, right? So we just received a huge investment from Pharrell Williams and his team at Black Ambition as well. So if you are, thank you. I appreciate y'all. It was a game changer for us, and so I highly recommend you look into the program. Please look into Black Ambition to see if you qualify. They have a general track, but they also have an HBCU track. So that was a big win for us. You know, we just received a huge investment. So now I can say, Pharrell invested in us, so come on, let's get it popping, right? That's a really big deal. But on top of that, we also had other pitch competitions. We'll have virtual ones in which founding farmers partner with us. We've worked with DC Startup Week. And so all that to say, this is just a little bit of our resume of some of the big steppers that we've worked with. But now I want to get into the meat of it all, of course. 3 A's. I got 3 A's for y'all. Be sure to write these down if you're thinking about how can I achieve some huge corporate partners, some huge corporate sponsors to improve my visibility, to sponsor my launching event for my startup, to sponsor my summit, you know, whatever it may be. I got 3 A's for you. That's 1, autonomy. We'll talk about autonomy. Next, we'll talk about access. And then we'll talk a bit about achievement. And so I'll dive into these. As you can see at a quick glimpse, when we talk about autonomy, we talk about streamlining things. Streamlining your communication, streamlining your visibility, streamlining your updates for the client or the potential partner. A prime example, when we worked with PNC and Walmart at Howard's Bison Boss Summit, I talked to a lot of the direct team, and this was something they were super big on, autonomy. A lot of people feel like, you know, I have to include them on all the day-to-day meetings. Sometimes sponsors just prefer to have that maybe weekly update, that high-level update, or as opposed to that meeting, sometimes it could be an email. Matter of fact, quick question for y'all. Don't even think about your work schedule, right? Not even the last month or the last year, but think about the last week. If you had a meeting that could have been an email, I want you to say, boo. That's almost everybody, right? We have this all the time. This could have been an email. You're wasting my time. So obviously when you think about the big steppers, right? The corporate partners, the corporate sponsors, they got a busy schedule. So a lot of times think can this meeting be an email? That was one key aspect that I got from working with brands like when we worked with Howard and Walmart and PNC. A lot of times they just wanted things to be streamlined. How frequently can I get those, just general email updates? And so aside from that, some good tools for that are like MailChimp. Anybody use MailChimp? I'm a big fan because if you use MailChimp, you can just send out those distros, those updates, and then you also get metrics. So you can see, okay, what percentage is opening the emails? What percentage is actually clicking the follow-on link? So those metrics are golden for you because now you got an idea of, all right, maybe I need to change the content of the email to get more clicks and more visibility from these partners, sponsors, potential clients. So super important. I like to use MailChimp, but there's plenty of others that you can use that we'll talk about a bit more. When we talk about, we'll get into access in terms of, all right, what room am I getting this potential client into that they're not already into? Am I trying to sell phones to Apple? What type of new innovation am I trying to break them into? And then lastly, we'll talk about achievement. So let's get into it. We talked a little bit about autonomy. I gave y'all some gems on MailChimp. Anybody use Calendly? Tope Albertona, big deal, man. When I was growing up, I didn't see people like that in the tech space. I saw the Jeff Bezos and the Elons. Tope Albertona, look them up if you're not familiar. But these black-owned, businesses, tech startups, the faces of them, that's a huge deal, And so when we think about these things, also, somebody earlier talked about ChatGPT. How can I streamline my communication? How can I make it easier for me? Effectively streamline your operations, your schedule. At that point, the potential partners and sponsors are like, yo, you're making it too easy on me. I love this. I can just come, provide the funding, do the photo op, smile with the check, and you've made this super easy. So it's all about the communication style. Some want to be updated on a weekly basis, but some may only want that monthly update. So you have to really tap into what that specific client wants or that specific partner wants. But in most cases, from what I've seen, they want autonomy. They want it to be streamlined. How easily accessible are these updates? How easily accessible is this visibility toward your track, of this big deliverable you have, whether it's your summit or whatever it may be. And so autonomy, super, super important. That's our first A. Make sure you write it down, autonomy. Next, we talk about access. We're talking about access. So strategically presenting your value proposition, that is super important. It has to be strategic. Like we said earlier, if I'm trying to sell, technology that Apple already has to Apple, chances are they're not paying any attention to it. But if I'm bringing them into a new forefront or some type of new target market, that's a huge deal. And so, for example, for our brand, Venture for Them, one of those value propositions is just helping them to reach the HBCU community. That's critical because a lot of times they may have the funding, they may have the people, but they're just not embedded in the ecosystem as much as we are. And so that's critical because not only does it support us, but it supports all the founders that we support. So that's a huge deal. So things to consider. Think of, some type of uncharted territory that they're not even into yet. And then they'll think like, okay, yeah, let me tap into that. So super important. So some examples down there, we said, of course, HBCUs, artificial intelligence, maybe getting some corporation to embrace artificial intelligence in a way that they haven't in such a way. So super important. We talked about autonomy. We talked about access. And then next, I want to talk a bit about achievement. And so openly conveying your prior success. A lot of people don't think about this. I know we come from often a background where I have to be humble. And it's important to be humble, but also get in your bag, talk your stuff. Throw those metrics out, throw those big wins, throw those big, I was like this for the longest, where I felt like, oh, I don't want to brag on social media and on LinkedIn, but if you are not sharing your wins, then there's no visibility, right? I'm not saying be to the point where it's annoying maybe, but like really just get yourself out there, post on LinkedIn, post on the different social medias to get your brand out there, to get the good work that you're doing out there. Make sure if you have an awesome event, get a dope recap video. Make sure you're getting those surveys, those exit surveys. That's super critical because now you see that, okay, now my attendees really feel XYZ about this. And then from there, you know where to grow. You know where to improve. And so that's super important. Achievement, conveying your prior success and your current traction to develop trust, to develop interest. That's super important. Here we say, it says numbers don't lie. In reality, sometimes they do depending on the storytelling, but it's important to show those metrics. So prime example, Techsgiving, I'm sure next time that they try to do this next year and continue to scale up and so forth, they're talking about how many people came, how many people loved it, XYZ. Making sure that you dive into those metrics and then prove that you have been successful or will be successful. So making sure that you show those achievements, but in a structured way, making sure those metrics are shown, making sure that data matches up. And so that's super important when we talk about achievement. And so this is another part. When we talk about statistics, we talked a little bit about numbers don't lie. Once you do secure those partnerships, this is a gem too that a lot of people overlook in terms of getting that partner to continue on, because a lot of times you want an ongoing partnership. If you get a big check from a huge organization, you want that to continue on. You want them to, if they give you 10K this year, you want 100K next year. Add a zero to it if you can. And so when we think about statistics, here's a really important one. 38% of companies use attendance or participation as a core value of appeal for partners. So a lot of times they'll say, oh, we had 10,000 people come out to this huge event. And that's the norm, 38%. But then I want to get to this second one right here, where a lot of people overlook. This is where a lot of the gems are, where you get a lot of those follow-on partners and sponsors. It says 17% of companies use post-evaluation surveys as a core value of appeal for partners and sponsors. 17%. That's not much at all. But that's where the secret sauce is a lot of times. Those post-evaluations, not just the in-flight. Okay, we're at Techsgiving, how do y'all feel about it? But also when you're leaving, when you're going or you're back home and you're chilling, who else are you still telling, oh yeah, we gotta go next year. We gotta turn up, DC is awesome, we gotta go back to Techsgiving. So all that to say, a lot of the secret sauce are in the post-evaluation. We often get so focused on the in-flight experiences, which are still amazing and we always get surveys for, but often the secret sauce is that post-evaluation, so that now you can come to those sponsors and say, X amount of people loved it. They said, we'll love to come back, we'll love to bring a friend, and so forth. So those are some of the metrics that are underlined that a lot of people miss out. And so as some examples below, a startup launch party, a conference mixer, a summit, these are all some really, really important things that you can keep in mind. And so from there, all in all, to bring things back full circle, we talked about the 3 A's. So we talked about autonomy. Make it look easy. Make it look easy when you're able to use AI or you're able to use some type of, technology to take your business to the next level. Make it look easy for the partners. Make it look easy for the sponsors. Make it easy for your team, You save a lot of money and you're able to tap into a lot of awesome things. And then next, we talked about access. So discovering new doors. What can I break my potential partner into that they're not even into? What space? What space are they maybe overlooking that can take them to the next level? So just something to think about. And then lastly, as some of my homies say, big up yourself. Hype yourself up. Get in your bag, hype yourself up, and make sure that you're using those metrics to display what you need to display, the art of storytelling to tap into all these amazing things that you're doing so that you're not downplaying what you do. Prime example, one of my first jobs was at Kmart. I was just doing stock. at Kmart, but I was able to kind of tweak my resume to where even though I was just a stock boy, it sounded super intricate, like I'm over here running the supply chain and logistics and this and that. And so, kind of hyping myself up, but in a way they understood because at the root of it all, I was kind of doing some supply chain and logistics. I just didn't know how to tell that proper story. So making sure that you really are putting yourself out there on the line and bigging up yourself. So these are our 3 A's for today. Autonomy, we talked about autonomy, we talked about achievement, and we talked about access. And these 3 A's are super critical in landing those big steppers, those big partners, those big sponsors. And so, all in all, I appreciate your time. I appreciate everybody. This was the Big Steppers, building strategic partnerships. And so I'm not sure if we have enough time for Q&A. That might be next up. Awesome, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for your time.
Let's make some noise for Kiante Bush and the Big Steppers.